felt that things will fall into place. He absolutely was clueless, but he went with the flow. He just thought that everything will go with the flow and then he'll settle down and things will take a course of their own time. I would not assert on this fact that he has got whatever he wanted to, but he might and he will someday. You must be wondering as to who this boy is and why is he so important that he's getting a mention out here on this platform. The boy is actually me. So here I go with the first lesson of my life. Lesson one is be a successful failure. I was like every other student. I was clueless and I had no idea what to do with my life and how to go about it. And just like every other parents, mine were also a bit worried, but I was living in my own dream. They were worried and I was least bothered about that are they tensed or not about me. But I was living my own dream. Every one of my friends were busy deciding which stream they will opt for after class 10th. Will it be science, commerce, or mathematics? But I was of the opinion of whatever I choose, how will it benefit me? And what will I do with that and what not? But I was not serious then also. I just thought that things will again take a course of their own time and I was least bothered about whether will I be doing good in mathematics, whether will I be doing good in commerce, science or whatever. I was just happy with whatever life the way I was living. Like I said, I was not serious then also. My friends opted for maths, so I felt that maths is an easier subject because I could actually do maths back in class 10th. So I felt that, yeah, let's go ahead with maths and let's see whatever happens, jo hoga, wo dekha jayega. I was of this opinion when I was in class 10th. I knew that I already taken a known plunge, but I still went with the mathematics because I knew that I could do it well. But I also did not know of the fact that along with it came physics and chemistry. Let me tell you very importantly and a very important thing that I was never an intelligent student. I could actually never score more than 65% of marks all throughout my student career. I was never one of the brightest students, but yes, I was amongst the one who were very good with whatever the teacher told. I was good in the books, but I was never good in my scorecard. I could never actually score more than 65%. And despite the fact that my mother was the teacher in the same school. So here comes the surprise. I failed in my class 11th. I failed in my class 11th first terminal examination and the final examinations also. And to your surprise, I could not score more than 33% marks in any of those subjects, whichever I had actually chosen. Be it physics, be it chemistry, whatever subject was, or be it mathematics also. I was ashamed. Obviously, I was ashamed of myself and I could not meet my parents' eyes. I wrote them a letter hoping that they will forgive me. And to the not so surprising, they forgive me. Which every parent would have done had they actually allowed them to have been forgiven. The same continued in class 12th also. I could not meet their expectations. I thought of reappearing and as expected could not make much difference to the scorecard. The same story of my failure continued from class 11th till class 12th also. Now I've already done my class 12th. Now back in 2000, the early 2000s, engineering was considered as a degree or was considered as a very superlative degree. I must reinforce this fact. Everyone wanted to be an engineer, as most of them felt proud that they will be now considered as engineers. I was also asked to do engineering, like all of us. I was just told that engineering is the pathway of everything. You will get everything once you become an engineer. You might become an MBA, you might become a lawyer, you might become whatnot once you are done with engineering. So I went with the path of me doing engineering. When I went with that option, guess what? I failed in my life's first university examination. I was a failure then also. So it's class 11th, class 12th, university examinations. I failed all of them. I saw 3 backlogs when I had actually seen my own result. But back of the mind, I knew something was like this to happen. I knew that I am about to fail or I can fail, but was not prepared for it as I was living again in my own world. I rang up my parents. I announced the results. They said that it's fine and it happens. Like other parents, they were also of the fact and opinion that things will again take a course of their own time. They said that it's fine and then it happens. I could see my friends enjoying their results. I too was a part of their celebration, but something was eating me within, and I could not stand it anymore. That was the time I only felt ashamed of myself, but I could not make it, and then I decided to remove the tag of a failure from myself. But do we really know what was more to come? I was eligible to be chosen as the best student of my college, a tag which everyone wanted to have in his resume. I had presumed that the trophy actually belonged to me. So I announced that to each and everyone, including my parents. Unfortunately, I lost that also, and I could not win it to it. I cried a lot after I failed. Yes, I was deeply hurt. I could not actually gather myself once I actually had faced a loss. Along with me, the people who cried were my parents. I thought that I have had enough of failures now. Now is the time to taste success. I joined MBA and got myself a job from that. But little did I know that I was going to fail one more time. I could not survive the job which I had actually got from my own campus placement for a longer period of time. And I was always unhappy for some of the other things happening in my life. That was the time I asked, why am I so good at failing all the times? That was when again I gathered myself and spoke to myself that I am good at failing in things. That means I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot of resistance to failures. That is my first lesson to you, to be the most successful failure. Now, as you step into the world where you will make new friends, you will broaden the horizon of your mind. You will also pass by failures in your mid-semester examinations, in your life, and you will learn a lot from them. I would not say to be afraid of from them, rather embrace them with open arms and allow them to do so, the same to you. Because I believe a person who fails the most prepares himself the best for success. I believe that success is a direct result of failure. If you are afraid to fail, you will be unknown of the success. If you embrace the failure, you will enjoy the success as no one could or no one has. Or rather, let me put it this way, that it is not the absence of failure that makes success. It is rather the response to the failure that actually helps you reverse the action of failure. Failure also leads me to a point where I can work hard and give some more time to myself, which I can lead to a later success stages of my life. Repeated failure will teach you that you need to have a change of the course and stop pretending doing something that is not meant for you or which distracts you from your core. It will also teach you to be strong at your will, and it is the best and one of the most amazing teachers. I have always said, and I will repeat it again, failure is the best way you can taste success. Because what you see today as a successful person might have been a successful failure once. I wish you luck for the same with upcoming years. So let's come to the lesson number 2. Connect the dots. We all know that world is a very small place to live in. Events happening around the lives are also interrelated with each other. Nothing happens without a reason. What does not happen is not bound to happen. But that does not mean that we should underestimate ourselves. I actually got this thought of connecting the events of life from my teacher who taught me company laws. She said that she herself could not be where she always wanted to be, but she got there today as a visiting faculty, and the same case is with me. I always wanted to be the part of IIMs as a student. Why wouldn't I want to be the part of IIMs? Why wouldn't I want to get myself admitted as a student in IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, or Calcutta? That was my dream. That's every child's dream. As an engineer, I wanted to get into IITs. After having done my graduation as a postgraduate student, I wanted to get into IIMs. What's wrong in that? I have my own dreams, and I will strive to live for that. But deep down my heart, I also knew for this fact that IIMs are not meant for me. Like I said, I was an average student. I could not score more than 65% all throughout, right? So I let that thought go slip of my mind. But I always knew that someday, either I'll be visiting them as a faculty or as anything, but definitely for sure, I'll be paying a visit to them. And with the grace of the profile which I am into, I go and interview their students. So I have gone almost to all IIMs wherein I get to interview the students. And that is what I feel that me as an individual should always learn to connect the dots. I would also advise you to connect the dots, as after few years of your lives, you would want to aim for your dream company. Or if you go for higher studies, you will aim for the best colleges in the world. If you're not there where you always wanted to be, and you have the willingness to be a part of it, no one can actually stop you from going there. And that the events in your life and of your life will eventually help you reaching to that point. That is the power I want to have with you. I want you to have with yourself. The best gift the God has given us is our mind. And the great thing is that He has put no limitations to that, as it can travel as faster as light or faster than light also. Let's come down to lesson number 3. There will always be happiness and there will always be sorrow. The art of balancing is what I call. This is the lesson which I actually got from the movie of one of the most famous Bollywood stars, Shah Rukh Khan, that life from now on for you all, as you are stepping into a new world, will not be the same. It will not be a straight path anymore, that your mother and come will wake you up in the early morning and ask you to get ready for the school. Rather, it will be a mixture of up and downs. You will have to do each and everything by yourself. You might have to wash your clothes by yourself also if you live in hostels. I learned this great thing from the Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan, and he said that whenever he had won an award, whenever he went back to his home being very happy, being very elated, and he had a very sound sleep whenever he won the Best Actor award or whatever awards he had actually won. He told in an interview, after having won an award, when I slept well, the next morning when I woke up, he saw that an article actually read that he was the most non-deserving person for the award. He then stated that it was their part or it was the job to criticize him for what he has done, and that he had to go back to work with the same feeling of not being accepted what he is good at. In a similar way, your life will center around your creativity, be it any profession you might be into. Whatever you create, which is true to you, will become a testimonial to the human creativity. But if it lacks honesty, its entire primitive is a waste. One more important thing I would want you to know is, wherever you are in a state of despair, once you graduate from this college or university, you will have one of the most important things at you. That time is to hang on what you are inside. The world will be unkind to you and will not be paying much attention to what you have gone through to reach there. But you must learn to see yourself in such times. There will be times when you will feel the pain of your living life on the interpretations of others. But that is the time when you learn of who you are and who you are best at. That is called the art of balancing. And I want you to learn that very well, because things will have a change of course from now on. Let's come back to the last lesson, which I always wanted to give you, is always giving back to the society. I say this to you because you are sitting here for the greater good of the country and for yourself. One day you will be graduated, and then someday you will have your own family and life will go on. But you need to understand one thing, is how you are developing yourself as a person, as a son, as a father, and as whatever profession you are into. You will someday be responsible for a family of yours, for a friendship to keep, and for the promises to be kept which you have already made. Never shy away from them. Never say no to anyone who comes to you for help, and with the help, always be kind to what you have got, and what others lack. Always be thankful from now on. These are the few important lessons which I would always want you to have with yourself, as these would play a very important role in your lives. Before I actually wind up the speech and the lecture, I would want you to enjoy every moment, every day, every second of the life which you are about to start, as times like these might not come back and which you might not get to see today with the youthful eyes which you have with yourself. You will probably fail for the first time, be it in your subjects, be it in love, or be it in being a good student or being a good child to your parents. The only thing which you should carry always with yourselves are the learnings from these incidences, as they help you to become a true, gentle person. Own your mistakes, own for whatever right or wrong you have done. Learn to listen and pay attention. Learn to celebrate the victory of yours, and more than that, learn to celebrate your own losses. Because life tests you only when you lose, because humans do not have a plan of what if I fail. We have always a plan after success. Always treat your parents and teachers with utmost respect, because when you give anything to anyone, life will give it back to you. Although I do not want things to end on a cynical note, but the fact is what it is today. So I all want you kids to study hard, work hard, and do not be bounded by the rules and do not hurt anyone. Never live anyone else's dream is the most important teaching which I would want to have you. No matter how hard you fail and how hard you fall, just in case if you find things are not going by your own way, remember this. This is what I learned from Shri Amitabh Bachchan ji. अगर मन का हो तो अच्छा, अगर मन का हो ना हो तो बहुत अच्छा, क्योंकि अगर मन का नहीं होता तो वो ऊपर वाले के हिसाब से होता है. And in my words, I would say, if things do not go as planned as you thought they will, and then do not consider it as an end, rather consider is at a comma or an exclamation mark. And I quote Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain cool, the sentence is not complete until the full stop arrives. At last, I'd like to tell you that you always live and love from your heart. Love the people around you, love the mountains, love the birds, love the animals, love your friends, love your family, love and respect your enemies. Most importantly, love yourself. Embrace all that life has given to you and what it has in store for you, and let your heart be as deep as ocean and your vision be as broad as a horizon. Learn to not hold on to it as something which is not better than you. Do not barter with anything. It is something which you cannot live all throughout your life. So all you kids here, believe that in the end, everything will be all right. Believe it, because this I say with utmost honesty, is that someone who was least expected to be on this dais or the platform is saying to you, I have always said that in life, I have lived until now, I have been a successful failure. And that has what made me to stand in front of you and deliver my first ever speeches of mine on life. And I do believe that this is the first, but definitely not the last. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Continuous, yeah. If the protocol
Thank you,
allows
sir.
me, I have few of the questions. The students are actually popping up on the screen. If the protocol allows. So if the students have any questions, they may go ahead with it. And if you want, and then we can wind up this session. So Neep's game, if he's still there, he has asked me the question, what is the meaning of success? Neep's game, are you still there? I guess he's not there, but still, anyways, I'll be answering his question. So what, if you ask really this question to me, it is, what is the meaning of success? I would say that, or rather, I would like to have it from your own end itself. Just in case, imagine you pass your examination without having studied. You pass your examination without studying at all, and then you see the mark sheet, and then you score 80 out of 100. And you know that is something which was pure luck. But once you study hard for your examination for that particular subject, and then you score 80 out of 100, that means that feeling will give you elation. That feeling will give you a proudness for yourself. That is what success is. So success is something which I believe that comes from your own hard work. Obviously, luck plays an important role into it. But unless and until you put in hard work into your success, nothing will come to you handy. Thank you so much for this answer, for this question. Someone else, SS Sahu, has asked me, how can we love and respect enemies? That's a very tricky and important, that's a very good question which he has asked. Respecting everyone is a very important part, be it your enemy, be it anyone else. But loving your enemy is something different. This we actually come to know from the Indian Army itself. What the Army teaches us is everyone is equal. When we were actually invaded by the Pakistani armies, so we handed the dead bodies of the corpse of the dead soldiers with full amount of respect. Right? But when we invaded Pakistani, just in case of we were having a fight, so they actually very disrespectfully returned the dead bodies of the soldiers. So that is what Army teaches us, to love and respect each and everyone. And not only the Army, but if you have paid attention to Ramayana, Lord Ram himself says that be it the enemy, that particular individual is a human being. So you need to respect that. Love will automatically come. Next question, how can we make anyone as a friend? That is something which should come from your own insight. Friendship is something which does not define caste, creed, racism, and nothing else. Friendship is something which should come from your heart. So it is completely your call whether that person is. Are you willing to have friendship with that particular person or not? So it's the presence of our mind, irrespective of the caste, creed, whatever the person belongs to. I think that friendship is something which is the most purest form of relationship you can actually have after your relationship with the parents. I think we are done with this session. So any other questions, or if you have the protocol permits, we can go ahead with it. At the time of failure, how can we motivate ourselves? Okay, I would want you to. I believe you must have read the biography of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. If you can really notice, in the year 2000 or 2001, before KBC season 1 started, he was actually going through a very tough phase of his life. He had no idea what to do, because he had already mortgaged his house. At this certain moment of time, you actually do not have any answer. And that is when you sit quietly at a place. Okay, you sit quietly at a place and then you think, how do I get myself out of this particular problem? So that is what you can motivate yourself, because When I was given this task to write, to address the students, this was my first time. Like I said, everything has a first time. So when I was given this task, I could not think of anything else apart from just being getting a very haywire in my mind. I just sat down at a corner of my home, and then I thought, what all I have learned all through this process, all through this lives, whatever I have lived up till now, what all people have taught me, what all my faculties have taught me. So that's how motivation is something which will come to you from your within. No other person can actually motivate you. None of the YouTubers will actually come and motivate you. You are the only person who are responsible for motivating yourself. And believe me, I have never actually seen any motivational video to motivate myself. So that is something which comes from you, which comes from inside yourself itself. Another question which has popped up is, marks can decide our future? No, marks cannot decide your future. I stand by this point saying that marks cannot decide our future. It is your capability which helps you define what you are today, what you will be tomorrow, and what will be in the coming times also. How to reduce your ego for enemies, for friends? Ego is something which is meant for the humankind itself. There are few things which we have developed for our own profit. The terms like ego, the terms like hatred are something which we have created by ourselves. So if you really keep aside the ego thing, and if you really think that he's just a normal human being, he might be just more overexcited as compared to me, then I think that ego is something which can be washed off completely. I really genuinely do not find anyone having any ego. It is just that they are different than you and you are different from them. So I guess that answers your questions very clearly. The next question is, love is good or bad? I would suggest it's just like, if you really wish to get in love, get into it completely. If you don't want to get in love, don't get into it at all. Just enjoy the way you are. That's a simple answer, I would say. Then we have English fluency. That is just a God gift, I must say. Thank you so much for the comments. What obstacles or barriers may I face that will sabotage my motivation? Okay. I really do not think that none of the things will actually hamper your motivation. See, on a very factual and a very true note, I would just want to say that motivation is something which will come from your inside. None of the things on this earth, on this planet, will let you down your emotions. Okay? Again, I shall repeat the answers. What obstacles or barriers may I face that will sabotage my motivation? I don't think there are any barriers or obstacles. It is just the thought process of your mind which will help you to get over any of the obstacles if you have. And if you really wish to understand what are the different obstacles, you can read the story of a spider and the king. The king was actually very disturbed, the fight which he was fighting. He saw a spider and he saw that the spider fails n number of times to knit a complete web for herself. The last time when he saw the spider knitting the web, he was actually motivated, and then he felt that if she can do it, why can't I? So there are no barriers, nothing. It is just the state of your mind which helps you or which actually pulls you down. Why mark is can decided our future? Can you please reframe the sentence, Rosa Prasad? What to do to develop someone's personality? See, personality is very different. Okay, so when you talk about personality, there comes many other aspects also. That comes communication skills, that comes the way you talk to people, the way you present yourself in front of the people, or you dress up in front of the people. And then it also comes in the fact that how do you present yourself to your own friends and to the people whom you love? So that is most important. So personality needs to be defined. In what terms are you asking, Aradhana? How can we know a person is good or bad? Okay, I'll answer this in a very different manner. You come along with anyone who is smaller in your age, who is very elder to you, or who is younger to you rather, or someone who is very elder to you. Take him to a restaurant. If he calls out anyone or any waiter from a whistle, then understand that the person is a bad person. But if he calls him with a good amount of respect, I think that person is a good person. And that's the trick which Gandhiji actually taught me. What is the difference? How can you know a person is good or bad? It completely depends on the way a person judges the people who are underneath him. That's why people say respect and treat everyone equally. What is the difference between being alive and truly living? That's a very difficult question. I never thought that I would be getting such amount of questions. Okay, what is the difference between being alive and truly living? Being alive is someone who daily comes in, works in an MNC, sleeps, comes home, eats, repeats, and everything's the same. Now, truly living is something what I am doing. I am also working, but I am also enjoying of whatever I am doing. That is something when you enjoy your work, Mondays will not be a problem for you and you will start loving Mondays. But when you enjoy your work, you start to live life because you try to find out time for yourself or for whatever you do. That is what the difference between being alive and truly living. What makes me unique? Your own name makes you unique. Your own habits make you unique. Saubhagya Samal. What makes you unique? Again, I should repeat. Your own personality, your own name, your own behavior towards others makes you unique. How to know what are our capabilities irrespective of our failures? The way you deal with failures help you understand or help you polish or to understand whatever the capabilities you have. You are just like a diamond which needs to be polished. As of now, you do not know that you are a diamond. So the more failures come and strike you, the harder you fall and fail, the more you will come to understand what are your capabilities irrespective of our failures. So when I failed, when I had absolutely no idea where will I be, because my parents were actually crying because I failed in my class 12th examination, the only thing which could actually keep me going is that कि मैं लंदन जाऊंगा एक दिन. ये मेरे दिमाग में बचपन से था that one day I will go to London. Anyhow I will go to London, but I will make a trip there. So that's what motivated me. I did not know how will I behave or how will I go about any of the things, whatever is to come in my life. But I knew for the fact that I will go to London one day, which I will make it possible anyhow, either by hook or crook, but I will go to that particular place. Can we love our haters and let them go? That's completely your call. If you can love them, like I said, embrace them and welcome them with open arms, always. Or if you want to let them go, and if you really feel that you cannot adjust with them, I think the solution is with you itself. You can let them go. Can there be happiness without sadness? There is no happiness without sadness, just the way that there is no success without failure. There will be sadness and there will be happiness. What motivates you to work hard? See, my job profile is something into which I interact with a lot of students in a day. I have almost interacted with more than 6,000 students up till now in my tenure with this company. So the students itself motivate me to work hard, because when I get to meet the students, because I've traveled all across India, be it north, south, east, west, so I have actually gathered how well do the students respond to certain situations and what are their thought process. I'm not putting up a barometer in under any circumstances, but I'm just saying that things are very good. India is in safe hands, is what I must say, is what I can say at this moment of time. What would you do if fear was not a factor and you could not fail? What would I do if fear was not a factor? See, do not be afraid to be afraid. If you are afraid of something or anything, accept it with a wholehearted way that I am fearful of being that I'm not so afraid of being afraid. Right? So that is something which should come from your inside. What just hold on for a minute, guys. So the question is, what would you do if fear was not a factor and you could not fail? I would say that I would not have been a successful failure if I hadn't failed. And imagine there is no highway on this earth which actually does not have any potholes on the road. So unless and until you get any potholes, I doubt that you are really going the right way. So Bhagya Samal, who inspires me? I am the one only who can inspire me and no one else. Although I'm not so very big to answer this question, who inspires me, but I am the only one who can inspire me and no one else does. How can we treat our enemies like friends? Whenever you come across such situations, just imagine, अगर IPL नहीं होता तो आपस में जो टीमें मिलकर खेलती हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया की, श्रीलंका की जो मिक्स होकर खेलती हैं, वो खेल नहीं पाती. So whenever you feel how can we treat our enemies like friends, तो IPL सोचना. IPL में everyone gets mixed up, but उसी टाइम पे जब इंडिया वर्सेस ऑस्ट्रेलिया होता है तो one nation one feeling आ जाती है. So if you can really understand Sakita, if I'm not wrong, then you can really understand from this example. Once you gel up with people, you start gelling up with them. But you really want to, once you are separated, if you belong to different countries and if you're a good sports person, then things will be very different. What do you feel about a life on a road? I have never been to such any sort of situations, so I genuinely cannot answer that, Suman Kumar. How can you answer our question in few seconds? Because the questions are really popping up and I really have to answer each and every one. Is the attitude the main thing for success? Yes, Anurag Pradhan. Attitude is the most important thing for success. If I really had started feeling that I'm a loser, I'm a failure, I cannot do anything else once I failed in my class 12th examination, class 11th examination, I wouldn't have been able to achieve whatever I have, God's grace. But the attitude is something which defines you what you are. Discipline is something very important. If you really take a note of Sachin Tendulkar, Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, these all are someone who have very different attitude, who have an attitude to be very different from what all others are. That's what I want you to be. So attitude, yes, it is the very main thing for success. Are you an entrepreneur? No, I am not an entrepreneur. What habits can I create to increase my motivation? Talk to yourself daily for about an hour or half an hour. Examine yourself. How did you go? How was the day? What you should have done? How could you have done? And what you could not do and what you planned to do. So talk to yourself daily for half an hour or 15 minutes or 1 hour, at least for 10 minutes. Then you will understand who you are inside. Welcome, Anurag. Rakesh Kumar Pradhan. What is life? Whatever God has given to you is life. Whatever your parents have achieved for you is life. So you will have to, it's not a payback that you will have to give back to your parents. It is just that you will have to utilize it and make it good for the society to live in. DWINC18, thank you so much for the generous compliments. Any more questions or should we wind up the session, guys? Yeah, so I think we are done. You can call in the moderator. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All the best to all of you. Do well in your lives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.